What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in a non-spoiler way, so do not worry, no spoilers will be given away here, although we are going to be doing a spoiler review later this weekend, as well as a ranking video of all three Guardians of the Galaxy films as well, so definitely subscribe so you can be on the lookout for those videos when they come this weekend. So, with that being said, let's get into Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But first, let me know down below what you thought. I want to hear what you guys thought about this movie, also in a non-spoiler way, to give other people a chance to see the film before they get it spoiled for them, alright? So, with that being said, let's dive on into it. Alright, so like I said, this film is fantastic. It got me feeling when I'm walking out of the theater, I was excited about Marvel. I felt like this was a time in the theater well spent, and I have not felt that way about a Marvel movie in a while. So it feels, especially coming off the heels of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, it feels very nice to come out of this movie theater with excitement for the MCU and just pure enjoyment from one of their products as well. So this film right here is telling the story of really Rocket. Rocket is the main character, and I absolutely love how they did this. They did a great exploration of this wonderful character voiced by Bradley Cooper, and how they told this story is just deeply, it's very emotional for sure. Make sure to bring your tissues because I did almost tear up, or I did tear up a time or two in the theater, and so did a lot of other people right around me. This film centers around his story and his feeling of being abandoned. He's always been hard on the inside, but it's because of all this trauma caused by the High Evolutionary who we see here in this film. Now, I said in my quick out of the theater reaction that the villains are a little lackluster. I would say that's more towards, like, Adam Warlock. Here at High Evolutionary, I felt was a pretty good villain, actually, in the movie. You definitely hated him, and that's how you know villain is done really well, when you hate him with your guts and you want to see them destroyed. I think the actor who played him, I forget his name, but he did a brilliant job playing High Evolutionary as well. I didn't really know what to expect from his character because the trailers didn't really give me too much, actually, to what this film's story was even about. Um, and I kind of liked that mysteriousness walking into an MCU film. And it worked for me. I came out pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you. This story here, it centers around Rocket, but it also deals with the Guardians of the Galaxy and Star-Lord specifically with the loss of Gamora. Peter is still feeling that loss, and how we see this character of Gamora, kind of coming back. She died in Infinity War, but then in Endgame, the 2014 version of Gamora came into 2023, and then she stayed in 2023, and now she's with the Guardians, or in this film. She's just not the same Gamora, that Peter Quill fell in love with. She is a much tougher, hard shell character who is keeps herself locked away from emotions and just kind of wants to, get on with her life. And it plays the tough love card really well here. And I actually like how they did the Gamora and Peter Quill relationship in this film, because oftentimes we see, movies or TV shows, when a situation like this happens, the characters come back and, they kind of fall back into love, or just the kind of that cliche of it, even though it's a different person, but yet they have feelings for each other and they've had feelings the whole time, and just that whole thing. It's not like that here. It's not stereotypical, and it's done very, very well. So that's a huge plus for this film for sure. How we see Peter Quill develop in this film and his arc in this film is fantastic. In fact, all the characters are. However, one of the biggest gripes I guess I have with the film, it's very jam packed. And here's where I'll bring in Adam Warlock. They have this character that they kind of teased at the end of Guardians 2, and it's like they kind of forgot they teased it when they wrote the script. And then they were like, oh, by the way, you did tease Adam Warlock at the end of the second one, so he needs to be in this third one. And they were like, oh yeah, okay. What do we do with that? Let's just throw him in here and give him not a lot of character development whatsoever. And that's what happened. It's not Will Poulter's fault who played him. I think he did a brilliant job. He's a brilliant actor. I was very excited when he was cast. However, he didn't really have anything to do. I felt his character was wasted. I didn't really like him even being in here because every time we cut to him or his mom being the sovereign nation, I just didn't care about that at all. And he kind of is just going after this one specific character the whole movie. I just felt like it was a waste of time and a waste of a great possible character. So that was a huge disappointment. But also, you have Kraglin in here, played by Sean Gunn, who's kind of wasted. Cosmo in here is wasted too. There's not a lot of time spent with those two characters. And I was very excited to see Cosmo coming in here, and I like Sean Gunn in this franchise, and I was kind of disappointed we didn't get more time with his character as well, although he does have some very comical moments in here with Cosmo. They have a great, funny relationship. I want to touch on Drax a little bit. In the second Guardians and Avengers films, he was kind of made as the comic relief and just kind of felt like a softie when in the first movie he was Drax the Destroyer. In this film, he's still that comedic relief and not so much of Drax the Destroyer that I kind of want him to be. However, I think they did a decent job here balancing those two tones quite well. Although the character wasn't perfect for me, I did like where they went with his character. I also really like what they did with Nebula here. I think the relationship between her and Rocket and Gamora that she has with these two characters are dealt very well. I've liked Nebula as a character more and more. As in Avengers Endgame, I felt she was given a lot of character development by the Russo brothers, and I think that was done beautifully. And you see that translate here, and she has become one of my favorite characters in the MCU. She is very well written, and I really liked her journey, and to see her journey continue hopefully in the future. And that's where it leaves me with this film. All of the story elements for the most part worked with me. Character development, my favorite part for sure. But it's the future. We were kind of thinking that this was the last film with this certain cast of Guardians. And while I believe it is, and we definitely know Dave Bautista will not be coming back as Drax, he's made that very clear. It does leave it open-ended, in my opinion. This was supposed to be a closing chapter. I don't think it, tied it off with a bow. Not necessarily that I thought this movie had to do that. But I did want to more, if this was the last time we see a lot of these characters, then I do want that to kind of have a better conclusion than I felt like this film did. I do feel like it was rushed. A lot of things were, even though this film was 2.5 hours long, which is where I'm also like, they could have made this film a little bit shorter, cut down, some of the scenes with maybe, the Ravengers or some of the other side quests that our side characters go on. But I'll get into that in my spoiler review. But overall, like I said, this film, pure enjoyment for me. It put a smile on my face and it made me feel confident in Marvel again. Let's hope I feel that same way with the Marvels. So I'm going to give this film a rating of 8 out of 10. I did enjoy this. I think James Gunn did a great job helming this project, this entity. He's very, very good at storytelling. There's no question about it. And how he has done this trilogy of Guardians films is outstanding, and he's one of the best, I think, to do it at Marvel, hands down. So, with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for me here. Let me know down below, are you going to see this film opening weekend? What do you think the box office is going to be? How do you think the critics and the audience are going to like this film? Do you think Marvel's back? Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comments. Remember, stay tuned this weekend. We got a spoiler review coming, and we got rankings of all 3 Guardians movies as well. And a big announcement in the spoiler review. So make sure to stick around for that. So until the next one, guys, I'm Tyson Honecker, and I'll catch you on the next one.